Hey Canucks fans, will we see Jake Virtanen in the lineup tonight for Game 2? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. And this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, August the 4th. This is where you get Canucks insight that's positive and timely. Well, I'm back in my shirt and tie. I'm back in my car. That means I'm back at work. And I love being at home. That's my preference, but I had to get to work, back to work eventually, and I do enjoy my job, so it hasn't been so bad on my first day back. But that means no more videos from my backyard or from my living room or from my bedroom, even though that sounds a little weird, but you know what I mean. As for now, for the next little bit at least, they'll be back in the regular confines of my car or my office. It is Game 2 tonight, and it's interesting, look, presuming that Nashville hangs on to beat Arizona, which it looks like they're doing as they're playing as I'm recording this. 4 of the 6 series will be split at 1 apiece. 2 of the series will be a 2-0 lead for Carolina and the Islanders, respectively. And then, of course, Toronto and Columbus are right before the Vancouver-Minnesota game later today. So, the 2/3 of the series are split. So that's obviously what we're hoping for the Canucks tonight. Now, I talked about the Lotta line. I talked about the top 6 yesterday. So I want to focus on the bottom 6 today and what potential lineup changes we may see. Now, it's a lot more difficult to get lineup notes and even line rushes from the practices because they are technically closed to the media. So we've been spoiled by getting line updates and line rushes from guys like Brendan Batchelor and Thomas Drance and Jeff Patterson as they happen. But now we kind of got to wait until half an hour before the game. So tonight, the game is at 7:45, so around 7:15, 7:20, we'll get someone like Thomas Drance or Dan Murphy, who are actually inside the arena, and they're going to be able to tweet out the line rushes, and then we can obviously conclude or infer from those who's going to be scratched tonight. So there's been a lot of talk about Jake Virtanen, inserting him and his 18 goals into the lineup. And it's kind of funny the way that this market kind of flip-flops on Virtanen. A lot of people were kind of sour on him during the training camp because of the way he came in training camp, the whole thing about being at celebrities as part, just before the quarantine time, before all the players gathered, and then at the actual training camp he got outplayed by Zach McEwen, and those two in turn got outplayed by Michael Furlan. That's why Michael Furlan started in Game 1, and he played okay. He wasn't the best, but he wasn't brutal either. He looked like a guy who was playing in his first full real game in almost half a year. But we know that two things that the Canucks struggled with were scoring on Sunday night. They struggled with scoring, and they struggled with penetrating into the middle of the ice, into getting into the good high danger scoring chances, and part and parcel of that comes drawing penalties and just making it tough for the Minnesota Wild to defend. And those are two things that Jake Virtanen can do. He can score 18 goals this season, and he can draw penalties. I think just behind Pettersson, he was the second most drawn penalties by any Canucks player. I believe that was the stat. So you think it'd be a no-brainer to put Virtanen in. And, he doesn't have a lot of playoff experience yet, whereas Michael Furlan did. So I don't think it's as simple as saying Virtanen in for Furlan, because Furlan can also bring a lot of things that we're missing, is scoring and some aggressiveness and the ability to wreak havoc inside the middle part of the ice. So originally I was thinking, and especially on Sunday night as I'm watching the game, and I know a lot of people on there were saying, put in Virtanen for Sutter, put in Virtanen for Sutter. But as that game ended, the more I've been thinking about it, the more I've been reading and hearing other people talk, there's a good possibility that Virtanen, if he comes in for Adam Gaudette and not Brandon Sutter. Because with Sutter, at least as a center, you can actually move Sutter up to that third line center spot and then move Gaudette out. And then you could have something like Sutter between Roussel and Virtanen, and then put the fourth line of Beagle, Mott, and Furlan down there. And if you had to choose who's a third liner, who's a fourth liner between Virtanen and Furlan, I think most people would actually say, although Furlan has played top 6 minutes before with other teams, you'd think that maybe Virtanen is more suited on the third line, and Furlan, just by a hair, is more suited on the fourth line. And remember, this is presuming Adam Gaudette goes out. Gaudette did not have a strong game. He was basically invisible on Sunday night. We know he doesn't take a lot of draws. Horvat usually does that, and then as the Canucks gain the opposing zone, that's when Horvat jumps off, and then Gaudette jumps on. Gaudette, not the strongest defensively, and that third line had a lot of trouble. And I've been saying this ever since the break. I was saying that Travis Green will basically treat his fourth line like his third line, and his third line like his fourth line when it comes to minutes. And we saw that, whereas Beagle, Sutter, and Mott got the same amount of minutes, if not more, than Ferland, Gaudette, and Roussel. So Gaudette could be a candidate to come out today, and if that's the case, that's the beauty of having 4 or 5, even six centermen on your roster. In fact, JT Miller could play center if he needed to. He takes a lot of the draws on the top line anyways. So you could have, down the middle, you could have now Pettersson, Horvat, Sutter, and Beagle. Keep Beagle on that fourth line. So that's one way. If you want to get Virtanen in, you take Gaudette out. Some are saying actually take Antoine Roussel out. And Antoine Roussel, bit of a hothead. We saw him take that 10-minute misconduct at the end of the game. He's a bit of a poop disturber for sure. He drags you into the battle with him, kind of like Alex Burrows, but maybe not as talented as Burrows. But I just don't see Green taking someone like him out of the lineup. If he had to choose one, I would see him, taking Gaudette out much earlier over Antoine Roussel. So if I was hard pressed to choose, my guess is it's Gaudette coming out and it's Virtanen coming in. Then you still have your penalty killers of Beagle and Mott, and then Sutter with one of, you could use Pearson or Miller as that other penalty killer up front. Beagle, Mott would be the primary, of course, and then Sutter, and then someone else. Louis Eriksson, outside chance of getting in. Zach McEwen, outside chance of getting in. But from a photo and from reports from practice, and it's kind of funny, people are doing some detective work, just like I did some detective work last night on that too many men penalty that Canucks took. So if you check out my tweets from last night, if you have a chance, I actually do a pretty funny job a good job, I think, breaking down what happened there. It actually turned out to be 7 players plus Markstrom. So there are 8 players on the ice, not 6, which you're supposed to have, not 7, which would be 1 too many men. They went big. They had 8 men on the ice at one time, so hence the too many men call. But I'm over that almost. But one thing that people were doing some detective work today from one picture that the Canucks tweeted out and then they deleted was who was wearing what jerseys. And Patrick Johnson seemed to, of the province, seemed to intimate that Louis Eriksson was the extra forward on the second line, and then that McEwen and Virtanen were getting reps on the third and fourth line respectively, and whether that was Virtanen on the third and McEwen on the fourth or vice versa, it doesn't matter because we still don't know. We will not know the actual lineup until tonight around 7:10, 7:15, 7:20. So look for tweets from guys like Thomas Drance and Dan Murphy at that time. And overall, obviously, it's a must-win for the Vancouver Canucks. You cannot go down 2-0 against a stingy team like Minnesota. So if it's like the majority of the series so far, 2/3 of them, the Canucks should win tonight and even the series up at 1 apiece, and then regain home ice advantage, so to speak. No, they won't. What am I talking about? They would be they at least tie the series, but the next 2 are going to Minnesota as the home team per se. Obviously, home ice is not as prevalent this season as in previous seasons, so it doesn't matter. Home away, Vancouver needs to win tonight so that they are tied going to Game 3 as opposed to down 2-0. Game 3 is on Thursday at 11:30 our time, so I'm gonna have to do some creative scheduling at work, but I'll make it happen, as well as I'm gonna try and make that live stream happen after the game, even if it's only for half an hour to 45 minutes on Thursday, because technically I'll be at my office. And then tonight, I have bowling tonight from 7 to 9, so I'll watch the first period at the bowling alley, probably drive home during the second period, then I'll be in the comfort of my own home for the third period, and then yes, join me on YouTube after the game for my post-game live stream. Hopefully, we are talking about a Canucks win, and the mood will be a lot better than on Sunday night when the Canucks lost. So there we go, Canucks fans. The question of the day is, would you insert Jake Virtanen into the lineup tonight? My presumption is the answer is going to be yes. But then the question is, who do you bring him in for? Do you bring him in for Adam Gaudette? Do you bring him in for Antoine Roussel? Do you bring him in for Brandon Sutter? I think those are 3 leading candidates. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Enjoy the day, enjoy the game tonight. Let's hope for a big Canucks victory, tying up the series at 1 apiece. God bless, and go Canucks go.